And of course, unofficially, our third co-host of the evening, belonging to the homie, Agent Lo-Fi. I'm excited to have you always on Tuesday or Wednesdays when we do our reviews, Agent Lo-Fi. It's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we are down one of our actual co-hosts, Papa Oso Will, is stuck at work. He will probably be stuck at work for the next couple of weeks due to theater life and rehearsals and things like that. So hopefully he'll be able to pop in a little bit later via the chat to say hi and everything. He is very upset that he is stuck at work, but he sends his love and well wishes to us. Moving on, be like a moment of silence, and that's enough.
We move on.
Nah, it's fine. But before we get into all the CMLL goodness from this past week's, as well as preview this upcoming Friday and this Saturday too. Yes, we have a lot of things that we need to talk about in terms of previews for Friday and Saturday this week because it's going to be crazy. A little bit of housekeeping. If you love what you see on here, or even if you don't, but you want to see what we're about and see more shenanigans, you can follow us all over the social medias at BC WrestlePod. We're pretty much on everywhere. So if you look up BC WrestlePod, you will sure enough find us on all the socials, YouTube, and Twitch, where you can see not only our live reviews of the weekly shows, but the pay-per-view, like tomorrow's review. And you can also find on the social medias out of context clips that will totally not come and bite us in the butt as we apply for jobs, or the internet will decide to cancel us one way or the other. And of course, you can also catch the report cards for all the things. I love how they look now. They're just so pretty. It's been fun making those. It's a lot of fun making them. I'm just like, if only I can get paid for these creations. But I get paid with love and being able to spend time with my dearest, closest friends, honestly. So for now, that will sustain me. That'll do, pig. That'll do. But enough with all about that. Let's get into why we're really here to talk about sweaty luchadors wrestling each other. It was so
Another
good.
good week. Another good week.
So if you are new to Los, what we tend to do is we go over, which is like the big show for CMLL. They also have shows on other days of the week, but we just mostly cover the Friday ones because some of us watch way too much wrestling.
Indeed.
One of us here watches way too much wrestling because he is on all the review panels because he has to, which is great. And you know what? I'm not upset about it. I'm just glad in the next couple of weeks I get to diversify it because there's a lot of international pay-per-views happening that we get to review here. So I'm like, thank the Lord, because I was tired of just reviewing the Western stuff. But we are here to review this past from CMLL. So let's just get straight into it because we kick things off as we normally do with a really fun Relevo piano match. So this is one fall trios match, if you will. And this saw the team of Stigma and Archelaus taking on one of my personal favorite teams right now, Vero, Vitas, and Lucy. I was like, I want their sweaters. I'm not even going to lie.
I know, right? Where the hell did they get those? Those are cool. So yeah, this was a good opener. Relevo Australia, only one fall. Most of the time we get a best 2 out of 3 for the Relevo Australianos. This match did what it was supposed to do. It was a beginning match. We did see our Técnico team come out with the win. Lucifero did get pinned, and Vitas, he submitted, and with this crazy leg wrap thing he got into, it was a good beginner.
I mean, let's be honest. The opening matches are there to just be the, appetizer for what the rest of the nights to come. And you know what? All 6 of these men, I think, did pretty good. This was a fun match. Is this going to be on my best of the year? No, but it wasn't horribly bad either. So it did what it needed to do. So I'm not upset about it anyways. But honestly, Agent Lo-Fi, same. I want a one-on-one match between Zalua and Vitas. I loved it.
That'd be a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. But this is a fun opener. So like you said, our Técnicos pull out the win and, off to a great start. Now let's get into the good shit.
Well, after that, I do just have to, just to have to point this out just because it took up a lot of airtime. We had a very interesting Mexico spot.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk about it too. Because I was like, what am I watching? And I was just like, oh, I was like, when the companies start using wrestlers like this, I was just like, y'all have made it.
Right?
But I was confused at first. I'm like, why am I watching an airline commercial? And then when I saw the airplane and luchadors,
right, and them flying, and it cuts back to the airplanes and all that. And tell me the one I feel that the made up or that they had for this commercial, I think that he was played by Donald Jr.
Yeah, but you know what? Ooh, Bandito, the rest were Tigre Blanca and Farak, so non-CMLL wrestlers. But you know what? I enjoyed it nonetheless.
Yeah, it was fun.
But
It
I
was
was confused at first. I was like, why am I watching a commercial? And then I was like, oh, I see what we're doing. I ain't mad
right.
at this.
Now
Yes.
this brings us. Yes, yeah.
So now, after a very fun airplane commercial, we then get into our second match of the evening, which saw Amazonas action. So this is a relevo sencillo de Amazonas. So this is two fall, and we see our newly crowned women's tag team champs of Lluvia and La Jarochita taking on. Listen, all of us have no shame in our game saying that we're biased with these two. But we have Adolfo and Wills.
And it was nice because the beginning of the year, I feel like we've had a lot of like belt defenses and a lot of like changing of belts, especially like with the women's and the women's tag team division in CMLL. So it was nice just to go back to just having a match, so this match wasn't for the belt or anything. It was just a match to have a match, and it was nice. They still came out with the furiosity and energy like it was a belt contention and belt defense match, because yikes, both these teams were swinging for the fences. So for the first pinfall, this was a best 2 out of 3 pinfall. So unlike Liano, where you can either pin or submit the team captain, or pin or submit 2 of the team members, you have to pin or submit both of the team members of the opposing team. So in our first pinfall, it was the Rudas came out on top, getting that first pinfall. We had Reina Isis doing this beautiful splash onto Jarochita and hitting gorgeous moonsault on Juvia, and I loved how they pulled the camera back to like show the entire ring so you could see us and Persephone hit that. So our second pinfall, we saw more of a seesaw battle. Great teamwork by Las Chicas, which are the team of Jarochita and Jubia. They are however, for the Rudas came out on top and pinning Juvia, then turns around and comes back with a quick. I felt it was like almost like a surprise roll up. I literally like turned to address my salad, and I came back and Persephone had been pinned, and I was like, okay. So Jubia got the quick 1, 2, 3 on Persephone, which brought it to Jubia versus Reina Isis. They traded some roll-ups back and forth until Reina Isis did end up on top. However, shenanigans of Isis, and we've seen her do this before, where she got really close to the rope and like hugged onto the rope and was able to get the 1, 2, 3 holding the rope so that Juvia couldn't kick out. So we got the win in this one, which sets up something for next week, which we'll talk about later.
Yes, because afterwards we do get some exchanging of words between both parties, which sets up a match between 2 of these 4 Amazonas, which we'll talk about more in the preview. But this was fun. Anytime we get to see the Amazonas in action, I'm always here for it. And I agree with you, Adolfo. Well, over the last like month or 2 of like mostly doing belt changes and getting new champs established. And to bring up what Agent Lo-Fi said earlier in the point too, is finally getting champs that will stick around, because with Stephanie and Tessa, it was just bad luck and timing vacating them. But now it seems that we've kind of normalize everything again so we could get back into other things. So I thought this was a fun one. Ooh, Agent Lo-Fi. Fine match. Was hoping Persephone was the one coming out with the feud. That is also very true. Listen, I love Reina, but Persephone is hot right now. She literally went to Japan earlier this year.
I was about to say I do agree with that. However, I think that Persephone's dance card is now getting filled up really big. So to have her in a, for lack of a better term, like a long rivalry type thing might not be in the cards yet. So we'll see though. We'll see. Because the tournament for the Universal Women's Belt is coming up soon. So
yeah, so I'm excited. I can't wait for that one. Also, shout out to CMLL for also giving us here's what are all the things that are happening this April. I was so there's a lot of stuff going on, which we'll cover in the news section because I had to take pictures of what was going on too.
We'll get there.
But we'll get there. So now we move on to our third match of the evening, which I'm not gonna lie. I was like, on paper, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. But we have a Relevo Australiano match, and we have the team of Mr. Flip Gordon and Brillante Jr. taking on the team of Ruch Magnus and Vegas de Prea. That's a mouthful to say, by the way.
Yeah, I mean I believe they are all part of the Depredador stable.
Right.
So it's just interesting that Vegas took that as the last name, but whatever.
This is fun. I'm like,
Oh yeah. It was a very high energy match. If you don't know anything about any of these three luchadors, get ready for a high flying, all the flippy dippy, as the kids like to say. Oh,
Junior
Deontay
is Andrade's
There we go. Fun
That's
fact.
awesome.
Nice. This was 2 out of 3. Our first pinfall did go to the Rudos, where we see Rugido hitting a beautiful Russian suplex on Magia Blanca and pinning him. The second pinfall, in the beginning, we saw continuing the domination of the Technicals. Rugido starts to go after Magia Blanca's mask. Then Flip gets in and turns it all around. He clears house. Magia Blanca hits another crucifix power bomb on Rugido, and then climbs up and does a twisting, I don't want to call it a corkscrew, but it was like a twisting flip thing. It's what the high divers do off the boards in the Olympics. I gave it a 10. That's just me. And pins one. So the Triunfo went to the Technicals. By the way, your captains in this was Blanca was the captain for the Technicals, so that's why that went. And then the third pinfall, Magia, in a little twist, Magia Blanca starts to go after Rugido's mask. The Rudos get back onto the attack, but this is where we start getting our spotlights. The Junior as the first one, he turns around, cleans house, he gets his little spotlight moment. Then we get Flip Gordon coming in, and Flip does what Flip does, and he got his spotlight moment. So then in the end, we had Flip pinning Magnus and Brillante Jr. pinning Vegas. So our winners were the technical team.
Absolutely. Again, can't really add much to already what you said, Adolfo. This was a fun match. This was a high intensity match as well, but it is to be expected with these 6 as well.
Yep.
So this was fun. I had a good time. I say that a lot on the show. I had fun, but honestly,
Yeah,
I had fun.
You know, I might be alone on this island, which I normally am. Maybe dumbass, but he's really good at
Killing it this past year.
Yeah, yes. I liked this match, but then getting the match that followed and kind of seeing the entirety of it, I ended up appreciating this match a lot more.
Yeah. I have to agree with you there as well. What could we possibly be talking about? Well, stay tuned because we're going to cover things like not even that far ahead. But again, my final thoughts of this match, I thought this was a fun one. This was great. And you know what? Given where certain people are right now in the world, as well as, people who are not available as of right now too, I still was entertained with all of this.
Yeah.
So we move on to this match right here. So this is the championship match, which I was ecstatic for. And we have our champion and our campeón of Star Black taking on the challenger in Akuma. This match.
Yeah. This was, I'll admit, to me, it started off slow, but somewhere like along the 5, 6, 7, 8 minute point, I found myself just glued to the TV.
Same.
What's going on? But before we talk about the match, our referee for the rest of the night, where did that hair come from?
Right. I was like, I love y'all.
I was out for a little bit. I know I was out for a little bit. I didn't think I was out that long. But if memory serves me correctly, he was like bald literally like 2-3 weeks ago. And now he's got like a whole damn chinchilla on his head. Like, what is going on? It looks good. I'm not saying it doesn't look good. And Olympico, please do you, dude, you got to give a little more time for such big changes to like set in,
I was just like, now I know I don't watch all the shows, but I was pretty sure that Sir was about to be a sponsor for Rogaine at one point. And then all of a sudden he has hair. I was just like, what in the telenovela verse am I in?
Right, exactly. At least you could like start it like short, like a crew cut, and then like ease us into just big, fluff that you got going on. But he was awesome. Olympico was awesome. He was jumping all over the place, which was very entertaining. But yeah, getting back to the matter at hand, Akuma versus Star Black for the Campeon Pistol. So early match, Star Black took control. Then it did flip where Akuma, he hit this and then starts to work Star Black over. We get our first near fall where Akuma gets a 1-2. Ooh, Star Black then comes back. He hits this beautiful moon flip to the outside and then hits with a Frankensteiner again to the outside. It was very nice. Very nice. Later on in the match, again, they were out on the ramp. Akuma does this okey doke to Star Black where Akuma goes from outside of the ring in, right? And Star Black doesn't realize what's going on. He turns around. As he turns around, Akuma, I know it was a tope, but I feel like it looked like a spear to me through the ropes. It was really cool. I thought it was well timed, very nice. Star Black then hits Akuma with a suplex to the outside. This was really back and forth, and at this point, this is where this is all notes for this one match. Like this is where the match got really good. Star Black then lined up for some flying move, but Olympico, that the ref stopped him because he was counting Akuma out. So Star Black had to readjust and ended up hitting, but I don't even know what to call that area. It's the area between the ring post and the actual cushion, and where you have like that much space, and he launched himself through to hit that top on Akuma. It was very good. So suffice the other thing of note was Akuma turns it around. He gets Star Black and slams him onto Barry Barricade. And Star Black is laying there on Barry Barricade. Akuma went to go for the Del Diablo, but slips and fell. I swear some of these guys are made of rubber. Either that or their pain threshold is out the roof, because there is not that much padding on the outside of that ring. So for him to land, and it looked like one of those he landed on his tailbone type sitches, but he hopped up, dragged Star Black back in, had a little bit boring back and forth, but in the end, we do get a new champion, and that is Akuma, who is there we have it.
That we do. So as you said, we have a new champion. Akuma is our new champion, which I'm excited for. Overall, I really like this match, but I will say that slip up did kind of not help things a little bit. I was like, oh, well, that's a bummer.
I think Star Black also had a bit of a slip up. I got to look back at my notes, but I think he also had a bit of a slip up where he tried to jump up on the rope to do a somersault splash, but he slipped and had to readjust and ended up just doing a regular splash. So
yeah, chiming in with his thoughts, their second match was better, but if they cleaned this one up, it would have topped it. Huge and well-deserved moment for Akuma, though. Really, really like him and hope he gets some big defenses. Agreed. Agent Lo-Fi, agreed.
Yeah, I'm excited to see who his next match for Akuma, who his first defense is against, and yeah, I'm excited to see where he goes. I'm happy that we're here at the beginning of his journey as the champ. So
absolutely. Which, this was a fun championship match. This was really, really good. And then I had to check my stream or when I was watching it on YouTube, I was just I feel like I'm missing something. And then I was like, oh, wait, we still got 2 matches left. So this is good. I say this because I'm delaying the things because, again, I am only one person. And I realized I messed up and I forgot to put in a slide. I'm kind of upset with myself. So we go back to the title screen. This is the second week in the row. You guys, I'm fired. I'm sorry.
Oh, you don't have a Templario slide?
No, but you know what?
Baba also would be yelling at you right now.
I know, but you know what we're going to do? I'm going to fix this right now. So I will introduce this next match, though, because in our semi-main event, if you will, we have a relevos match, which is and taking on the team of Volador Jr. and El. So I'm going to let Adolfo kind of do the things and, talk about the match while I fix these slides.
Yeah, that's right. So, pretty much it's except instead of having your standard técnico rudo on either side, everyone's mixed up. So you have some of that dramatico going on in there. So we start this match off with Templario and Titan, who are coming to blows. They did have that last week. We do know that in NJPW, they are in two different stables. Templario is in United Kingdom. Mike, fact check. United Kingdom. United Empire. Thank you. Templario is with the United Empire, and Titan is with the
Los. So
Yep. So they went at it for a little bit, then came in. El Valiente hops it, goes to chase him out, and then that's when the team and of course we have to have a spot where Valiente goes after Esfinge's mask, but Valiente ends up pinning Esfinge, and Junior ends up pinning, which I can't tell. I have to go back and rewatch it, but there was for the setup to this pin was they did a machine gun, or what I call a machine gun, on Titan, on Angel de Oro, who was stuck in the corner, and it looked like Titan might have missed when he launched himself, and just kind of like, instead of hitting Angel de Oro and having that break his momentum to fall out of the ring, he just ends up flying out of the ring. I don't know. Someone, fact check me on that. But the team of Valiente, Volador Jr., and Titan gets the first pinfall. The second pinfall, we still have the Volador Jr. working the other team over. They try to get Templario's mask off of Templario, but then Templario fights back and casts what I'm going to call Lucha Inspiration, because then Angel de Oro come in, and they end up pinning El Valiente and Volador Jr. That is for your second pinfall. So we have an even match going to the third pinfall. We start off with Esfinge versus Volador Jr. The technical team of Esteo and Angel de Technical team. They take it to the other guys. We have Angel de Oro getting his spotlight where he cleans house. Templario comes in and does a very scandalous thing, because Templario comes in and he puts a United Empire t-shirt on Titan. So,
rude.
Yeah, that's didn't sit well. And they fly. Then Templario hits this sick backstabber on Titan and ends up pinning him. So your winners for this match is Esfio and Angel de Oro. So what do you got for us there, Mikey? Oh, there we go. Look at that.
I work my magic sometimes. I try my best. Yes, if I did not do this, Will would never let me hear the end of it.
Yep.
Papa Oso would be Papa Oso and eat me alive, but not in the fun way. Anyways, so I actually really enjoyed this match. Definitely echoing Ancient Low File. This was the Can They Coexist Lucha version. So, and also his thoughts. Another great match. Didn't feel like they were focusing on it as much as Titan and Templario. Honestly, same.
Yeah.
Wonder if they may be another or the big feud building for a certain big show, which I would not be upset about. Listen, I've said it before with Titan Titan always being part of Los, it's really fun to say for me. And with Templario being the newest member of United Empire too, like, they're going to come to blows, and I'm here for all of it. But in regards to this match, I really enjoyed this one. And it was kind of fun watching all 6 of these men work. And you know what? I would not be upset of them wanting to be in another match together. Like, they actually have, all 6 of these men honestly have really good chemistry with each other. It was really good to watch.
I'm hoping that Templario and Titan are able to stretch this rivalry out to Fantastica Mania. I think that would be a good place to have a big facing of the two factions, and also it makes sense because that's the NJPW CMLL crossover show. Yeah, and there was enough of a Ante just to be like, hi, we're still here, so yeah.
Agreed.
Good for the main event, though.
It is a good setup, which, speaking of main event, we're going to turn this slide over. Oop, wrong thing. There we go. Haha, just kidding.
Oh my God. What is
we're all over. Oh, wait, hold up. Just kidding. I have it, I promise. It's just going to take a little bit. But anyways, in the main event of, this week's, honestly, we have a pretty fun one. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
But in our main event for this particular episode, we have the team of Máscara Neon and the recently demasked Star Jr. taking on the team of Zantucan Jr., Difunto, and Barbosa. This is actually a really fun match. Yes, sir.
I love me some spooky ghost pirate ship stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
So this match didn't waste no time. They right at the stairs just got into it even before the technicals could be fully called out. As a matter of fact, as they called Mascara Dorada out, and the announcer was giving him his big long thing, Mascara Dorada, he sees everyone fighting at the base of the thing there, and he's just like, wee! It does a flip. It was like, okay, this is how this match is gonna go. Very good, very good. So they do get into the ring, which I actually appreciated that. I know a lot of times, like in AEW and WWE, when you have matches that like start outside of the ring, it seems like it takes forever to get them into the ring to ring the bell and start the match. Not so the case here. They got into the ring in a good time, and the match started really quick. Though the technicals turned it around, and you had Star Jr. pinning Zandakan Jr., who was the individual that ended up taking Star Jr.'s mask last week, so he got that pin. Our second pinfall, Neon starts off by clearing house, and I do want to just call out Osa and Zandakan Jr. sporting the Hulkamania color pattern. Very interesting.
That was, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I love the tassels on Barbosa's pants. I want a pair of pants when I perform. I want a pair of pants like that. But anyway, so yeah, you have Neon. He gets his spotlight. Star Jr. He gets a bit of El Galeon Fantasma. They turn it around. Tito, who came out with it, he gets kicked at the end of the second pinfall. We have Difunto pinning on Neon. Star Jr. Zandakan Jr. initially. And I think I got this confused with the other one. Zandakan Jr. initially was going to jump on top of the top rope and do like a flip splash onto Star Jr., but he jumps to the top of the rope and slips and is only able to get up and over to do a regular splash. Oh no, he ends up pinning Star Jr. So the El Galeon Fantasma, your Rudos, they get the second pinfall of the night, bringing it to a one-on-one. So third pinfall, El Galeon Fantasma, they continue their domination of the Technicos, but the Technicos, they come back with a beautiful triple dive. Mascara Dorada and Difunto, they had this spot where they tightroped into each other, and then Mala hit a Canadian destroyer on Difunto. I thought it was really cool. And I mean, there was other stuff going on too, so it was just like the way that they had the camera was like pulled out, and you saw everyone else like fighting, but then you saw Mas doing their thing. We loved it. The El Fantasma, they fight back, but in the end, Star Jr. No, I apologize. Neon and Mascara Dorada, they get the pins for your technical team. So your winners in this main event for Viernes Espectacular are the Technicals.
Absolutely. And I'm going to kind of pull my thoughts to kind of align with Agent Lo-Fi's, who says they really need to run this back like 6 or 7 more times. These guys are hyper creative. Need it to all click.
Yeah.
But also, the last 5 minutes of the match was absolute magic. Give me that for 3 falls. Drooling noises.
Totally. I didn't mind the botches because, number one, they were able to like come back and readjust so quickly. It speaks to the professionalism of these luchadors and how good they are at, thinking on their feet. And also, these aren't like simple moves that they're missing. I mean, I want to see Joe Schmo off the street do a freaking box jump to the top rope, and then from there bounce off and do like a somersault into a frog splash. Like they're high technical moves. They're missing them. It's still, it still was really good, really entertaining. Yeah, I love me a Galeon Fantasma. Fuck, I love
it too. But man, this is a fun main event. And again, I would love them to run it back multiple times because I would never be tired of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So that brings us to the end of this, but we have a lot of things to cover really quickly.
We got stuff coming up, kids.
Yeah, so I'm going to switch back over to our main card over here really quickly because we have 3 different things we're going to talk about. So I did not make a slideshow of all these things, but we got a lot of announcements of what's going down this April in CMLL. So I want to talk about that real quick before we get into previewing this Friday's episode, as well as what we can expect from another show on Saturday. But in April of 2025, there's a bunch of things happening. First, we have the Campeonato. So we have the elimination match the 4th, the 11th, and the 18th, with the finals being on the 25th, which has me super excited.
Yeah. That's my birthday weekend. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited too. Also, on Saturday, April 5th, this upcoming Saturday, is the 82nd, so the Coliseo Arena, 82nd anniversary, which is crazy to think about.
Yup.
So that is also happening this Saturday. Then on Friday, April 25th, is the 69th anniversary de la Arena Mexico y Copa Bobby Gonzalez 2025. So I'm like, oh my God, another tournament. Let's go.
Digging it.
So that one's going to be on April 25th. And then closing out April, which is also going to be crazy. And this is specifically because if anybody who is in Mexico, this is an important holiday. We have Dia del Niño in La Arena Mexico. So Children's Day, which is going to be on both Sunday, April 27th, and Tuesday, April 29th, my birthday. So that's a lot of things in April. This is crazy.
Big month.
Ooh. Aged Lo-Fi with the facts. The format for the Universal Tournament changes every year. Keeps you on your toes, which I'm excited for.
Cool. Yeah.
And I still don't quite understand how it all pans out. Us neither, but I'm excited. Again, we are not even a year into reviewing CMLL. I mean, this is all still new to us, so I'm excited to experience new things and have our proverbial cherries pop. Take that as with what you will.
Waka waka.
Waka waka. But that covers all the stuff happening in the CMLL during April. It's crazy. So now let's get into previewing this upcoming Viernes before we talk about something also going down this Saturday, which involves me and Adolfo.
I was just thinking about Stuka Jr. today. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay because I was also thinking of Stuka Jr. earlier today as well. I was like, wonder where he's at. But this upcoming episode of Viernes, there's a lot of things happening. So first, in the Primera Lucha, so the first match, we have a 3-on-3 match, which is going to have Angelito and taking on the team of, so this is a mouthful, Valencia. So I was like, that's a lot of pequeños on one team. So I'm like, this is going to be so good. I cannot wait.
Back to it.
Exactly. So second match, we have Howl and Ante Jr. taking on the team of Milano the Third. And one of my new personal favorites now, new to me, but I'm excited to see more of him. Those two will be teaming up with Utani. It's like, yeah, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. Then we have 2 elimination triple threat in this, which I was like, oh boy, here we go. Ooh, nice to know. Such a cool style. I've only seen like once. I have only seen him a little bit, but I also really like him too as well. Oh, absolutely. Give me more Utani. I am now becoming a big fan of Utani, so I am super excited. But as I was mentioning before, we have 2 elimination triple threats. So first in the 25, this is our Campeón Histórico and and I'm trying to think what the GRO stands for again.
Guerrero Mayo Jr.
Yeah, Guerrero Mayo Jr. Maya Jr. I wanted to make sure that's what it was. But I also want to apologize because in my excitement, I skipped that before these 2 elimination match. We do have a Manas match with Juve and this going one-on-one. I was like, here we go. Progression of storylines. We don't have to drag it out for 5 weeks before we get to the match itself. Looking at you, other promotions. So in my excitement, I apologize to Amazonas. Also, I know you can step on me and hurt me, so please don't. I'm sorry. And then, of course, in the main event, so Estelar, has the team of Atlantis Jr. finally making his way back to Arena Mexico after being abroad for a little bit. Teaming up with Neon and taking on one of our personal favorite trios of Ultimo Guerrero Jr. and Gran Guerrero. Yes. Also, a bunch of these folks are going to have a busy 2 days too.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I agree, Agent Lo-Fi. This actually is looking to be another fun Friday.
I'm excited to see Ultimo Guerrero and Stuka Jr.
I'm excited.
I love that move that Stuka Jr. hits. I don't know what it's called, but it's and I think it's a plancha, but the way he does it when he launches himself off the top rope and then he brings his arms in, he looks like a dang peregrine falcon
Right.
when they do that dive, for their prey. It looks so good. Yeah,
Exactly.
Sneaker Jr.'s so freaking. He's so good. He's good.
He's good and he's so underrated. I
Yeah.
love it so much. But yeah, that's this Friday of which makes me excited. But we're not done yet because while we are in Arena Mexico Friday, on Saturday we transport on over to Los Angeles, the city of angels, for MLW's Battle
Battle
Riot
Riot.
7. And you might be wondering to yourself, why are you talking about MLW on a CMLL review? Well, I'm glad you asked, internet person. There's a lot of CMLL talent involved in Battle Riot on Saturday. So we're going to focus primarily on three things. We're going to focus on all the participants in the Battle Riot from CMLL, which is actually a good chunk of some of our CMLL talent, as well as 2 matches that involve CMLL talent as well. So first, let's go over the entrances in the order that they were announced in the 40-man Battle Riot match for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship representing CMLL. We have Atlantis Jr., Blue Panther, Virus, Atlantis Sr. Listen, I love when we get all the, parents and children involved. It is fantastic. And, well, now he's masked here, but he's no longer masked because of things that went down. But Star Jr. is entering the Battle Riot.
I wonder if Star Jr., since he's going to be outside of Mexico, if he's going to be allowed to wear a mask.
I'm very
interested. I think it was Ultimo Guerrero. He wrestled in AEW, but he wore his old mask. But I'm not sure if that's if he had to get special permission or there we go.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Sure.
But we love it, MLW. I mean, that is also very fair too. I will say though, I think CMLL does a better job of presenting the MLW or any visiting talent very well. I mean, I think it just depends on who it is because again, when we had Takeshita visiting at the end of February in his match, defending the Never Openweight Championship, I thought he was presented very well. But it's also really weird to have CMLL have these really fun relationships with other promotions, but it also, I feel like, and this is just a personal bias, and to get on my soapbox really quickly, I feel like it's a one-sided thing. CMLL does its best to welcome people into their house, but then I look at, I love you, MLW, but outside of certain stars, MLW and even to a certain extent AEW, when we get the luchadors from CMLL there, we don't utilize them correctly. Now, ROH has kind of been on and popping the last couple of weeks because we've had some very good matches in ROH, which is really weird to say because ROH usually doesn't do it for me anymore since last year. But hey, you know what? We got lots of luchador matches. We had Amazonas on there. We had some of our men from CMLL. And honestly, if ROH just wanted to become a secondary brand from CMLL and have all the luchadors fight there, I'm like, I'm not going to say no.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Athena versus Laka was a really good match. I love that one. It was so good. But those are the people entering the Battle Riot. But oh no, we are not done because we also have 2 CMLL matches kind of scheduled for Battle Riot. So the first one is a 3-on-3 match with Atlantis Jr. and Star Jr. taking on NS as well. So I was like, these people are going to be pulling double duty this evening.
Yeah, they are.
Most of them are. I wouldn't be surprised if Magnus ends up being there because there's 40 people. And I think we only have 25 of the names announced for everybody involved in Battle Riot. So there's going to be some surprises and things like that. And as of now, I have not been told this has been canceled, but who knows? We'll see. But let's talk about why I'm really here.
Yeah, that was my question. That's my question mark. If Mystico
I have not heard anything. I would not be surprised though if we do not get this match. But until I am told otherwise, we are having an MLW World Middleweight title fight, which Mystico will be defending his title against Templario. I am looking forward to this match a lot. Give them 15 minutes. Don't cut the match short.
Oh, Cesar.
Please don't do this to me. I can't handle it.
You and your baby daddy kidnapped
drama is messy.
Telemundo drama.
We love it. It is so dumb.
It was so fun.
But we also have, I think Battle Riot's also going to be fun too because there's a couple other things as well. We will be having Janai Kai fighting against, debuting from TJP and Himimaru. I'm excited to see her. But we also have Delmi Exo defending her title as well. So that's going to be fun. So who knows what else we're going to get? It's going to be a fun one. Yes. So that's what I was afraid of, which is fair. So, we'll have to they'll probably postpone this match when Mystico is better, which makes me sad, but I'm still anticipating for this match. I am excited. And we have like 2 MLW shows after Battle Riot too. So I would not be upset if we had to wait a little bit longer. So I want Mystico to be better so we can have these 2 fight to the fullest extent. But you can catch me and Adolfo, and we're going to try to convince Will, maybe, to this Saturday to watch Battle Riot 7 with us. It's going to be fun. By the way, did you know these MLW shows are free on YouTube?
Free
Yeah.
in this economy? What?
That's crazy. Yeah, that's something I'm still trying to get used to is that the promotion's not acknowledging these changes till day or start of the show.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but you know what? I am not upset. I still think it's going to be fun. And the people who are involved in the Battle Riot, I think are going to be a lot of fun to watch as well. But that brings us to the end of Los Lucha. So this was a long news segment, but a fun one as well, because we had a lot to go. Sweet! Agent Lo-Fi, hopefully you could pop in for a little bit. Me and Adolfo will be watching Battle Riot for MLW. And then immediately after we're done, either that night or the next day, I do want to tune into the 82nd anniversary Coliseo show to see what that's going down with all of that. So that's going to be fun.
Yep.
But before we go, just to give you a preview of what remains this week, it is a busy schedule this week. Tomorrow evening, you can catch myself and Andrew, who we have missed so dearly on the channel in the last couple of weeks. Me and him will be flying. Well, I will be flying from Mexico, with covering CMLL, and I will be flying all the way metaphorically to the UK as me and Andrew tomorrow night will be covering Progress Wrestling's most recent show, Fix Your Heart. A regular last man standing match. We had a tag team championship match, main event, which was fire. And of course, the internet's Simon Miller defending the Progress Proteus Championship in a dog house affair. The only weapons you could use were legal as long as they came from a pet store. Yeah, roll with that how you will. There were dog collars. There were squeaky toys. There were pile drivers into said squeaky toys. There was an actual dog house. It's wild.
Fantastic.
But
Love it.
you can catch us tomorrow evening reviewing the Progress Wrestling's Fix Your Hearts. And then on Friday, you could catch myself, Will, and our newest member of the BC WrestlePod family, and our new TNA co-host, JT, as the 3 of us cover TNA as we prepare for Rebellion in Los Angeles in a couple of weeks for TNA. I am super excited. Also, come back on Sunday and you can catch a bunch of us reviewing WWE as well, as we are now 2 weeks away from Mania. Holy crap. So we are 2 weeks away from all the WrestleMania shows that we're going to do watch-alongs for, not just WWE, but GCW, TNA. It is going to be wild. So stay tuned to all those announcements coming very soon. But
some people in some odd places, just saying.
We're going to make sure that we film all the content, get your mind out of the gutter. But, it's hard times out here, so who knows? Anyway, in this economy, hey, you know what? In the words of baby's gotta do, we got to pay bills out here, y'all. But me and Adolfo have to go film some content, get your mind out of the gutter. But that is going to be it for us at Los Lucha. So for myself and Adolfo, Papa also Will, and the rest of the BC WrestlePod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay bi-conic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. I will catch you tomorrow for Progress Wrestling.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.